Well, Kristen, the storm blew through here about 6:30 tonight, and the high wind caused a lot of damage. Take a look. Right across the street here, that barn caved in right onto that RV. You can also see some power lines here just hanging like strings of spaghetti. And a lot of that debris blew right across Warpole Road, right down this driveway. You can see right here all the debris just all the way down there for about 100 feet. And as you can tell, the wind is still pretty forceful right now. Some trees are also down right here. And take a look at this, a piece of metal gutter wrapped and twisted around that tree branch. Now, AEP says about 500 people are without power right now. Despite that, the folks living around here are making the best of it. People living in dozens of homes just west of Upper Sandusky spent their Sunday night in the dark, including 74-year-old Dave Grove.
He don't think nothing of it. It's just one of them things that happens. That's nature. That's Mother Nature.
He says the storm hit fast.
I just got home, and the wind was blowing real hard. I just got in the garage, and all of a sudden the rain hit.
The rain came down in sheets, accompanied by forceful winds, and that's when the power went out.
Everything went black.
When the storm blew through, the temperatures dropped and the skies cleared quickly. You can even see the full moon there. But the winds did not let up. The winds blew down several utility poles, bringing wires down with them, causing the power outage in this area. The winds also knocked down trees and collapsed this barn, sending debris everywhere.
It's got a lifetime guarantee on it. I just either get my little security light and go around and get the candles.
Dave Grove says he rather enjoys sitting in his living room in peace and quiet, safe and sound inside his home. He says no electricity is a minor inconvenience for him, having lived through about 5 hurricanes down south.
I don't worry about anything. The Lord Jesus Christ take care of me.
Now, Dave Grove lives with his wife just off County Road 330. He says he has a generator just in case. He says he doesn't mind firing it up, but he hopes the power will be back on sometime tonight or early tomorrow. In the meantime, crews are going to be very busy fixing those power lines, and homeowners have their work cut out for them, cleaning up all this mess here. Live in Wyandotte County, Chuck Strickler, 10 TV News. Flowers now bloom in the heart of this one-time coal mining town, Nelsonville's historic square showcasing its life through the trickle of time. Known for its star bricks that still line the sidewalks, it's still operating and now expanding 19th century opera house and the balcony from which Presidents Taft and Roosevelt once gave their campaign speeches. But now this town is at a crossroads with the new Route 33 bypass. Stuart Brooks is part of the family that started Rocky Boots. Can you believe this day is here?
Well, I can't. I really can't. And I can't believe that it's, again, it's been so long coming.
Years of debate and millions of construction dollars later, the bypass will speed up travel time between Columbus and Athens and also cut down on congestion along the old 2-lane through town. The fear is that the bypass will cause travelers to bypass local businesses.
Nobody knows what the impact is.
Every day you quilt, and then pretty soon you get better.
Susan Holmes owns the Nelsonville Quilt Company right downtown.
I'm doing a Sunbonnet Sue quilt for a customer. I probably do it in my sleep sometime, but I can't do it with my eyes closed. I had a lady stop by yesterday on her way home from North Carolina.
In her 9 years here, her staff, space, and sales have doubled. She's optimistic more people will thread their way through her doors for more traffic on the new bypass.
A lot of people don't realize that there's more to Nelsonville than what they see now. The bypass won't hurt me. I hope it doesn't. I'll let you know next year.
2 new interchanges to Nelsonville are also now open, and Susan has already ordered road signs for the new bypass to let travelers know exactly where her quilt shop is, just 1.5 miles away in downtown Nelsonville. She and others hope the word spreads that Nelsonville is a destination town and worth making that trip. Live over Hocking County in Chopper 10, Chuck Strickler, back to you.
Chuck Strickler has the story you'll see only on 10 TV. Chuck.
Well, Kristen, the Runner family, about 10 of them in all, were enjoying a weekend of camping at Mohican State Park near Loudonville when all of a sudden their world changed in an instant. And for 20-year-old Brandon Rudder, it's a moment that changed his life forever.
Oh, I had no idea what was happening. It was nothing but fear.
Brandon Rutter recounts the scare of his life.
Out of nowhere, lightning just struck this tree.
First, he was blinded by a fireball of light.
My vision went white, just pure white. You couldn't see nothing.
Then a loud boom as the tree exploded around him and a half dozen other family members. He remembers when the first splintered piece of flying wood, like shrapnel, hit him in the head, knocking him flat to the ground.
I thought everything was over.
It was definitely worse than a battlefield. I got to tell you that.
Brandon's dad, Michael, was in the family camper when the lightning hit, but in seconds was out the door to help.
It was screaming and people crying. And
Then he found Brandon buried in broken tree limbs.
his eyes were wide open, and I thought he was dead. There was one point that Brandon looked at me and he said, "I'm scared, Dad." And I said, "No, I'm going to do everything I can to get you right, get you help."
Brandon suffered 4 skull fractures, a neck injury, and bleeding in the brain. Surgeons used a titanium plate to put his shattered bones back together.
How could you call it anything short of a miracle? Every doctor's told me I'm lucky to be where I am.
Lucky to be able to talk about this changing moment in his life he will never take for granted again.
After what I've just gone through, I can't say that tomorrow is a guarantee. You gotta just live it up while you can.
Good advice for everybody. Ironically, Brandon was supposed to start working at a lumber company, of all places, this week. That is, of course, put on hold as he recovers in the hospital. He should be getting out in the next week and a half, and doctors are giving him a very good prognosis. Live in the studio, Chuck Strickler, 10 TV News.
What a story. Thanks, Chuck.
The dawn of another hot summer day.
Okay.
Armed agents standing by, machetes ready to cut down Ohio's #1 illegal cash crop.
It's a hazardous mission for everybody involved.
Ground radio check, all alert. Down there, you're loud and clear. We're getting ready to roll out now.
BCI Special Agent Dennis Lowe leads the charge.
Yeah, there's some fog right there.
Lowe has the key role, putting his 21 years of experience to the test.
Full plot. There are 3 of them in there.
He is the eye in the sky, hovering just above the treetops, pinpointing patches of marijuana from the air.
Primarily, it's knowing where to look. If you know where to look, you're going to find it.
Lowe guides ground crews along dusty, heavily rutted back roads and through thick underbrush. The majority of marijuana seizures come from smaller plots, anywhere from 1 to 10 plants, spread out over a wider area, not just in one spot. And it's not just about the size. Many illegal growers are experimenting with hybrids, smaller plants, but putting out much more bang for the buck.
Yeah, there's more.
And they'll actually clone those plants. This is a much, much different, much stronger marijuana. You're talking, in some cases, the plants that we've had tested here, 17 to 20% THC content, which is really, really strong stuff.
Agents never know what to expect, even booby traps like one they stumbled upon recently in nearby Gallia County.
They were 12-gauge shotgun shells attached to rat traps on a trip line, so that when people came into that patch, they would have been shot by 12-gauge slugs.
There's some more right there.
Meigs is a hot spot. This is the 4th time this mission has come here this summer. The final harvest on this day, 154 plants, $616,000 worth of weed off the black market.
That's a lot of marijuana that we're preventing from hitting the streets and potentially ending up in the hands of people that shouldn't have it.
In Meigs County, Chuck Strickler, 10 TV News.
Something told me to keep knocking, so I kept knocking, and I started faintly hearing voices in there, and I identified myself who I was and told them to come to the door.
Athens County Deputy Mike Burbis says he stopped by this West 2nd Street home for a routine wellness check after someone made an anonymous call.
That's what took him so long to get to the doors, because he had to crawl. The odor that was coming from the place was just unbelievable. Piles of trash, dog feces, stuff just stuffed anywhere and everywhere, cobwebs hanging everywhere. Just something out of a horror movie, almost.
Burbis says 79-year-old Jim Riley was wearing no pants, covered in dirt, and told him he had been bitten by a dog.
He just kept saying that he didn't do nothing wrong, and come back in a few days and check on him. I said I wasn't going to do that. I was going to get him the help he needed right then and there. As
Deputy Burba ventured deeper inside this makeshift home, walking in between knee-high piles of trash, he discovered 88-year-old Ina Sharp sitting in a chair, needing medical attention.
The squad had to remove her from the chair. Her skin was melted to the chair.
Investigators say Ina Sharp was burned on her leg from her hip to her knee when a nearby kerosene heater spilled and caught her chair on fire weeks ago. she never got help.
It's difficult to understand how a family could let another family member live in this situation, let alone ever getting to this situation.
Neighbors like Gloria Bradshaw are shocked.
I never realized it was that bad.
If it wasn't for the anonymous person that called us in, and me being able to find them, yeah, they probably would have died, especially with this cold it's got in the last couple of nights. They're in good hands now.
Pork chop dinner scattered, order hash brown scattered.
The Waffle House lies in the shadow of the Roberts Road I-270 interchange, where the coffee is always hot.
Have a cup, give you a warm up, sweetie, okay?
And where Cookie Giles is the queen of the waitresses.
That should get you out the door, okay? I've been here quite a while.
17 years.
I've seen them come and go.
Watching traffic back up outside her window day after day for years.
They get into a big rush, and they don't think of what they're doing, and then they start crashing into people.
But she is still a little skeptical about the new diverging diamond traffic design.
I don't know how that interchange is going to work because I've never seen one, but they say it's supposed to be really good.
Before the change, you actually had to cross a lane of traffic coming in the opposite direction to go from Roberts Road to I-270. Well, this new concept eliminates all of that. Now there is no stopping. The new entrance ramps are free-flowing turns. To achieve that, the pattern switches traffic flow to the opposite side of the road as it passes over the freeway. So while you're on the bridge, you're actually driving on the left side of the road, just like they do across the pond in England. You switch back to the right side of the road at the ends of the bridge.
All right.
Cookie Giles says she just hopes it reduces congestion, cuts down on accidents, and keeps bringing people back to her breakfast counter.
It's been exciting over the years, I will say that. Here you go, sweetie.
And she's looking forward to one thing.
I'm going to try it in the morning.
Doing it for 15 years, and I love it.
Mansfield firefighter Corey Voles preps his truck for the next call.
We're touching people in different ways every day. You really never know what you're going to get into.
Whether it's a medical or fire run, Corey is ready to respond. But little did he know he'd be caught in the middle of a big mystery.
That was just something kind of strange that happened.
Corey also helps his community by picking up litter in his neighborhood, something he's been doing for years. Well, last Wednesday, as he was walking here along Owens Road collecting garbage, he made a discovery right off the roadway.
When you pick up trash alongside the road, you find a lot of strange things. So I was pretty much adapted to seeing anything. And then I realized, oh, wait a second, this is somebody's purse.
Turns out 12 years before, local resident Dorothy Euler filled out this police report of her purse stolen right out of her car. Today, Corey paid a visit to Mrs. Euler, now 84 years old.
Hi, ma'am. My name's Corey Volz. I was the one that found your purse.
Well, I was happy. It was pretty dirty.
Plants, roots, everything's still growing in it.
But her driver's license, some loose change, and store credit cards were still inside.
It's a neat story just to see the purse after this long. It'd become one with nature.
Dorothy's grandson says the return of the long-lost and almost forgotten purse was a nice surprise.
It wasn't about the objects that were in it. It was more just about the memories associated with it. So it was neat.
Well,
Thank you very much.
Hey, not a problem, man.
For Corey Voles, it's just another day of serving his neighbors.
Just helping out. That's the way I view it. Everybody help each other out. We'll be a better place.
In Mansfield, Chuck Strickler, 10 TV News.